Creation's Journey to Life, Day 14. Do you love breakups? I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not see that in spite of the repeated evidence in my own living experience where love failed to sustain a relationship and prevent it from breaking up, I still place value in love as the bond and reason to engage in relationships without considering the practical factors like communication, past life clearing, vocabulary alignment, psychological patterning, clearing, psychological patterning clearing, honesty, intimacy, goal alignment, secret mind eradication, investigation of the allowances and acceptances of irrational fear, and the necessity of skilled training to prepare myself for effective agreements to hold the relationship together as a giving of myself in total commitment to successful living. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to accept breakups to be the natural condition of human relationships instead of acquiring relationship agreement skills to manage the relationships as equals and to support the integrity of the commitment to each other as the expression of self-respect and respect of each other as living beings to prevent the fear of being hurt and the fear of vulnerability that is the key to complete trust and intimacy. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to accept love as an untouchable feeling that will somehow obliterate the physical evidence that love do not conquer all, and that I allowed myself to become irrationally possessed with love to such a degree that I became blind to the physical signs that predictably show the signs of breakup and failure already in many cases before the relationship turned into a committed agreement. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to accept love to be holy, when it clearly shows love is used as manipulation, with or without intent, to get feelings fulfilled and to counter the fears of loneliness, while these fears only go to the greater fear of breakup later that compromise all rational relationship stability considerations. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to refuse to see that thought plays the major creative role in the creation of love through energizing and justifying feelings through a process of listing acceptable and unacceptable points that I can live with, instead of standing on the principle that will create a certain successful relationship agreement through following the common sense of openness, self-honesty, integrity, and communication. All the points I know is critical for a stable commitment, yet I compromise through justification because I fear I may not get into the relationship unless I compromise. Yet the reality of the breakup is born out of the compromise before the relationship starts. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to accept the use of love in movies and advertising to influence me as to how I project that love should be, while I deny that the picture perfect presentation is not based in the reality of daily living. Yet I allow myself to compromise my integrity and that of my partner and foolishly follow the road of breakup, using justification and compromise to make my decisions sound right in the thoughts I entertain, as I create the illusion of my choice by coloring it in with all the reasons why, while denying all the reasons why not. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to place all my trust in love instead of the common sense of living in ways that is practically best for all life, and thus best to be the foundation of all relationships in all ways. I commit myself to create love as the living result of communication, past life clearing, vocabulary alignment, psychological patterning clearing, self-honesty, intimacy, goal alignment, investigation of and release of irrational fears, and the training of myself in the skills of effective agreement design, that all my relationships may be always be best on what is best for life because of the relationship that was agreed to be formed. I commit myself to reform the foundation of relationships to be lived by me and passed on to my children that is based in the common sense practical living in space and time that will always result in what is both best for the relationship and best for all life, as life as a group is based on relationships and the consequential outflows of the agreements within relationships, and I stand for that which is mathematically predictably best for all life. I commit myself to reform the foundation of love to be the result of effective common sense living in a practical, measurable way, where all cards are always on the table and no thoughts exist that are hidden that could lead to justification and judgments that will end up in breakups, purely because the self-interest of feeling was measured to be worth more than the integrity and respect of self-honest living. I commit myself to hold only life as worthy and holy and to reform all relationships on earth to that which respect and protect life in all ways necessary. I commit myself to reform the understanding of the place and use of the mind and thinking to its rightful place as a tool with which to design living patterns of flesh as self that is best for all life, and not allow myself the compromise to regard the mind as more than life and as a tool that has rights that overshadow life. I commit myself to make sure that movies and advertising is no longer used in ways to design the human into a robotic consumer that must live a life of compromise and desire just to feed the greed and fear of those unwilling to respect and honor life as equal. I commit myself to put all trust in right relationships where I will play the part of one pole to make sure that no uneven polarity is created through which life will be imprisoned to the illusions of energetic consciousness, to make sure that life as the physical is respected and supported as it was intended as the dominion that was given.